Great. So let's get started in a seated position. But our theme today is really stand tall. And so we'll be starting out with some standing. So take a seat just to come into our practice together on the edge of a cushion or a rolled blanket or even a chair, since we'll be standing. Today our props will be a block or two. If you have two blocks, that's great. If you don't, we can make do with one, it's fine. And then a strap for our later work on the hips and hamstrings. To begin our practice, we come to seated position, sitting up nice and tall, rubbing the hands together, warming up the body, and placing those warm hands on the lower back. And the lower back takes a lot of weight and a lot of effort in our lives, so let's give it some warmth and love. And also notice that there's a curve in that lower back that we always want when we are in our poses and standing as well, so that we protect the back from being too compressed in that lower area. And then slide the hands to your thighs and notice you keep that integrity of the back and that lower back as you roll the shoulder blades down the back and the shoulders away from the ears and the crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. So we are that channel between earth and sky through the spinal column. Just as a tree is that connection as well, always reaching upward, but very rooted to the earth. You can close the eyes momentarily to cut out the visual distractions and set an intention for the practice, whatever your individual intention is today. Even if you have audio distractions like a baby or something, let's see if we can work that into our meditation today. Inhale and exhale, notice the breath. And in our breath practice today, I just want to encourage taking a slow breath. That would be during movement. This recommended breath is really a shorter exhale and a longer exhale. So we would do a 3 count inhale and a 5 to 7 count exhale. If this bothers your body in any way along the way, that 3 count, 5 or 7 exhale, if it makes you dizzy or anything, all you have to do is come back to that autonomic breath. No striving and no perfection. In fact, another theme I'd like to bring in is just that imperfection, because we're doing tree today, and by request, doing one of those favorite poses. If you think about looking at a tree, usually you don't look at a tree and say, God, I wish it were facing this other direction, or I wish that branch were going to the left and not the right, or I wish that leaf didn't hang quite that way. Usually you look at a tree and accept it. So it's a beautiful theme of self-acceptance and acceptance of an amazing imperfection that we all have. Inhale. Exhale. Gently flutter the eyes open. And we're going to come to mountain pose right away so that we can stand tall and then come back to our floor work and then up again. So feel free to go into all fours and then just curl the toes under, bending the knees toward the chest. Place your blanket to the side so it's not in your way, and then bend the knees, bring the ribs to the thighs. Take the hands to the thighs and then fold up to standing. Come to the center of the mat. And we'll go through some nice basics. So we want always to have these basic integrities of a pose, but of course all the imperfections and flexibility around that is part of the theme of yoga as well. So let's take the basic cues for our mountain pose. The feet are hip width apart. And this you can use while you're standing in line, waiting for anything. Take the feet hip width apart, look down at your feet, spread the toes, and imagine that you're in the sand and you want to root down and feel that gravity pulling you, as well as a lifting energy in between the feet. So right about the arches of the feet, imagine that there's a spotlight shining upward, and then that energy is going upward through the middle of the legs. So you almost like feel that strength between the thighs there activating. You can take the hands to the hips so you notice again, there's a slight tilt in the pelvis. So you've got that lower back arch. And then you want to squeeze the glutes about 20%. You could take the hands back there just to make sure they're activated. While the tailbone is pointing downward, so it's dropping down, activating that core. We're traveling up the body here to the core and just noticing. Take the hands to the lower ribs. Inhale. Exhale and notice the low ribs. If you can tuck them in towards the back of the room, just to activate your really core deep muscles there. Drop the hands next to the body. And now we'll travel up the spine again. Again, those shoulder blades are rolling, gliding down the back. And then the shoulders away from the ears, pressing down, coming back to that foundation of the feet. Press the feet into the earth, but feel the lift. Back up to the top of the body. We'll take the neck arch, noticing that, and then the crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Drop the hands, open the palms towards the front of your room, and then keep those shoulders open and the collarbones reaching out to the sides while you take the palms back to the body. So here you are in a very solid mountain pose. And I want to practice swaying since we'll be doing tree later. So if you can take the body, just keep those feet rooted and take the whole torso over to the right, like you're a tree, kind of swaying in a storm, and then over to the left. But as you do this, maintain that integrity of the strength of mountain pose, and then come back to neutral, find your neutral in that very center of the body, and then lean forward slightly, really pressing your toes so you keep the balance. Inhale, exhale. Let's just lean to the back slightly, of course, not any full timber, but just leaning back and noticing. And then you can even take it in circles around the body. You could take the energy, holding those feet steady and the legs, noticing the strength of mountain pose, that if you're flexible enough to move around, but you've got this strong base through your middle of the body and the feet grounded and rooted. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale. As you exhale, feel the roots of the feet into the earth, and the inhale brings that light upward. Great. Now take the hands to the hips, and we're going to stretch out the hips, so take gentle hip circles. So we take the hips over to the right, and then forward, and then left, and then back. So large circles or small circles, your choice, your practice. As you do this, notice the connective tissues on the outside of your muscles, just getting a new message to stretch out a little bit, and then change the direction of the circle. So you take your hips over to the left, and then forward and back. Over to the right and then back. So left, forward, right, back. And then if you can bring the hips back to stillness, keep those hands on the hips so you can feel that steadiness of those hip bones facing forward. And now we're going to take rib circles. So that's a little more challenging just because it's an isolation of the rib cage. So we're going to take the ribs over to the right and then forward. So if you look at me to the side, I'm pushing forward, but my hips are staying steady. And then the ribs over to the left, and then back and right, forward, back again. You can make this a circle, fantastic. Even if it's an imperfect circle, no problem. Inhale and exhale. Inhale as you bring the heart forward, and exhale as you lean back. And then we'll change the direction of the circle. So we're taking the ribs over to the right, the back, then the left. And noticing, especially in the back, which sometimes we can ignore, stretching that out. Feel as you reach back and you're back ribs face the back of the room. Those muscles are opening up. All right, come to standing and then reach up, inhale up towards the sky, clasp the hands together and take the palms to the sky. Clasp the fingers together and take the palms to the sky. As you do this, lengthen through the muscles of the side body instead of lengthening through your arms. That's part of the picture, but we're going to lengthen through the trunk, right? So the sides of the body, strength lifting you upward. And then we're going to again sway side to side, left and right. Let's take a longer stretch over to the side than our swaying, just to get our side bodies long. Inhale up, exhale. Each time you're swaying, maybe getting a little more space in those connective tissue through those fascia, which is the layer on top of your muscles. Inhale as you go up, exhale as you melt over to the side. Then come up, reach through the palms again, and then bring the palms forward, bend the elbows, and bring the hands to the bottom of your skull. And this support at the bottom of the skull should allow you to reach upward by 1 millimeter, and notice as you support the skull upward, you're going to notice some space existing there in your neck vertebrae. Hopefully that feels great. Keep the elbows out to the side. Inhale, and then look up at the sky. Also have your chest looking up as well, the elbows open. Exhale, we're going to bring the elbows together, kind of butterfly those elbows. And as you do so, you can lean forward with your chest. So you're leaning the spine forward as you bring the elbows together. Open up like a butterfly on a leaf. Open up the elbows. Inhale, exhale, nice and long. Squeeze the air out as you bring the elbows together. Again, notice the hips are a steady base here. Exhale, inhale. And one more time, just because we're unrounding and kind of getting more stability, more flexibility in that upper back. You can drop the hands, and now we'll take a twist. So take your right arm to the side, palm to the back of the room, bend the elbow, and then bring that hand, the back of the hand, over to the left hip, as much as you can behind the back, like this, but don't push it. If you want to bring it to the middle of the back, that's okay. So we've got the right hand behind the back. Inhale, step into those feet and grow tall, and then inhale, and then exhale. We'll turn the ribs over to the right, so towards the right shoulder. Just noticing it's a slight twist here, back to center. And then drop the hand. We'll inhale, lift the left arm up, bend the elbow, and bring that hand towards the right hip or to the sacrum. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, and we'll twist the ribs and the shoulders over to the left. We'll maybe looking behind you, but since we're early in the practice, don't force anything. We'll take the right arm up again. Inhale, exhale, bend the elbow, bring it behind the back. Inhale again, grow tall. Exhale, twist to your right. Come back to center, drop that hand. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, bend the elbow, bring it behind the back. And then twist over to your left. Beautiful. Drop the hands and then grab a block and come to the bottom of your mat. And so that you have the long mat in front of you. Place the block just above the knees and gently squeeze the block. We're protecting our lower back in this early part of the practice as we go down towards the floor. So inhale, just gently squeeze that block. You feel that energy coming up from the earth and the strength leading that energy up towards the crown of the head. Inhale, the arms up long. And then if you need to bend the knees, that's okay. As we hinge at the hips, swan diving down towards the mat as if we're taking a beautiful dive, Olympic dive into a pool. You can bend the knees as you come down, since this is early in the practice. Find the ground with your fingertips, squeeze the block, or you can come down with the straight legs as well, whatever is your choice. And then remove the block, place it to the side, and then walk your hands out and bend the knees. We're coming toward all fours. And then you're going to take your blanket and cushion those knees. Today we're also, I'm introducing something I haven't done a lot, which is Hanuman, sort of a prep for Hanuman, the monkey pose. So I will introduce that as well. And take the blocks to the side and make them available for you. So set yourself up in all fours. You've got the tabletop, so your wrists are below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. If you'd like to place your wrists a little bit forward from the shoulders, that's okay. If you want to take some weight off of your wrists and that sensitivity, or you can be on the fists as well if that's more comfortable for you. So we're in our neutral all fours, and let's take a cat-cow because it's our most, I think it's one of the most delicious poses. So let's take the tailbone under, inhale, towards the tailbone towards the earth as you feel the lift of the spine, the back of the spine up towards the sky, and then drop the head and look at your knees. So now you've fully gone into cat through the entire spine, including your skull. On your next exhale, you're going to lift the tailbone up. Feel that undulation of the spine coming towards the earth. Looking down at your knees still, feel the shoulder blades come together. And then at the last moment, lift the head and look up. So you've just taken a nice trip through the spine in both directions. And now bring the navel up towards the spine, and we're going to come into our more neutral place with this tabletop. We're going to go into a low lunge. So let's curl the toes under on the right leg and straighten out the leg. And we'll just take a stretch here, rocking back and forth. You'll notice that this stretches the back of the leg and the calf. Just lengthening things out. Inhale, get long. Exhale, bend the right knee and bring the right foot forward. Even if you need to help yourself by holding the ankle, you can place that step right in between your hands. So we're in a right angle here. We've got the back shin as our base, and we've got the right foot in the forward position as our second base. Take the fingertips below you and reach through the crown of the head so you feel the length through the spine. So first it's length, and then we connect with the roots. We've got the foot and the shin. See if you can magnetize them together, and that will pull your hips into a better alignment. So you've got your hip bones even. What will happen is the right hip probably wants to come up or forward. See if you can bring it back. And then we're placing a nice alignment for those hips. You probably already notice an opening through the hip here, perhaps. Inhale and exhale. Take your right hand on the inside of your right foot. Place your right foot just about an inch to the right towards the edge of the mat. So we're getting a little deeper hip stretch here. If you have any trouble with your hips, just come up a little further. Don't flex so forward. You can even take your blocks below you just to allow a little bit more leverage there to reach yourself upward through the crown of the head and lengthen. Now, I want you to take a vision, bring your mind's eye to your spine. Your spine is one long line. I'm going to take that line into a diagonal position to the left. You can look up here if there's any confusion. We're turning away from the right knee, and we're taking that spine over to the left, and our shin on the left leg is going to echo that line. So we've got one long line with the spine, and it's in line with the shin. So we protect the knee, and all the while we're getting a hip opening on the right. So the right hip and the right knee stay behind those toes. Keep that integrity of your knee behind the toes while you explore the flexibility in that diagonal direction. Always have the shin in line with the spine. Pull the hands, if your hands are on the floor, you can pull back towards the back of the mat. Just notice that lengthens out the spine, inhale. And exhale, see if you can bring your torso down a little further towards the earth. This is a real hip opener here. So be kind to your hips, come back towards your foot if it's at all uncomfortable. And then come back towards your right foot with your hands. Beautiful. And now, if you have those blocks, 2 of them or 1, you take them in the tall position next to your foot and push upwards, and we're going to come up into a full vertical torso. So this is a position we haven't taken too often. So I want you to take your hands to your hips and then notice if you can even out those hips. So one is probably higher than the other. See if you can bring them into an even position facing the top of your mat. And we're not jamming into that left knee. We're pressing through the shin, pointing with the tailbone and getting taller and just feeling that energy through the shin is our root. Now, if you can begin to straighten your right leg forward, like so, and then the heel is your base. So I've got my right foot forward, and you can use those blocks or 1 block even on your side just to keep yourself strong and tall in the torso. So this is a hamstring stretch here. We've got our right leg stretched out. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, if you can hinge at the right hip forward towards your toes, great. If you have any issues with flexion, then you don't have to do that. But let's see if you can feel the buzz along your hamstrings as you lean forward, and you can lean on one of those blocks, but try to keep the hips even. Exhale, dip forward, and then inhale, come back up. Bend the front knee toward a low lunge. You can place those blocks to the side. Bring the hands around the right foot. We're transitioning now. Curl the toes under on the left foot. And then if you want to stay on that knee, it's okay. Or lift up the knee into a low lunge with that leg straightened out behind you. Lengthen through the spine. So we're in a runner's lunge. Lengthen the spine, and then tiptoe your left toes forward to meet the right in a forward bend at the top of your mat. Yeah, this is a newer sequence, so just go easy. If you don't get it perfectly, don't worry about it. Inhale, let's take the thumbs to the elbow creases. Keep the knees bent. Exhale, drop the head. Look behind you. Just notice things upside down. They look kind of cool that way. And now take the hands below you, and we're going to take the right leg back this time into a lunge and take the knee down to the mat. So we're reversing this, but we're coming at it from a different direction. So bring your left foot back a little towards the body. So everything's in a right angle. You've got your right leg in a right angle and your left leg in a right angle. And connect with those fingertips. Pull them towards the back of the mat. And notice this lunge we're in. We're coming back to that right angle lunge. Bring your mind's eye to that left hip. And see if it wants to pop up, bring it down towards the earth a little bit and back towards the back of the mat. You can take those blocks just to give yourself leverage if you want on the inside of the left foot. Bring both hands on the inside of the left foot and move the left foot over an inch or 2. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, begin to take the spine in that diagonal path over towards the right edge of the mat, keeping the left knee behind the toes. And then your right shin is going to be in the direct same line as your spine, diagonal. Again, a deep hip opener here, so take it easy if you need to. Inhale, grow long. Exhale. If any of this being on our position on the floor here is bothering you, you can take this to your back and do a hip opener there. Allow your exhales to connect you to the earth, bringing that gravity, weight into that left hip. Long exhale. And then bring those blocks back to, or your hands back to around the left foot. Connect to that back shin as your root, and inhale, hinge up so that the body's in a vertical position. Take the hands to the hips and see if you can bring the left hip down towards the earth. If it's tried to hike up a little bit, point your tailbone down, and you'll feel an opening in the front body. Shine your heart forward, kind of changing your shape. Exhale, we'll begin to straighten the left leg so that the heel of the left foot is your root here. And this is challenging, so take those blocks or a block beside you just for extra balance, feeling that right shin supporting you. And if you want to hinge at the left hip forward towards the left toes, you can feel the buzz again along the hamstrings of your left leg. Go easy on yourself. Even if you're just up in that vertical, you're going to still feel that opening through the hamstring. Imagine. Exhale, bend the left knee. And then we'll come into a lunge with the hands around the left foot. Beautiful. And then we'll take our toes on the right side, curl those under, lift the knee off the mat if you'd like to lift that knee up, or you can even stay with the knee down. And then on your next inhale, tiptoe the right toes forward to meet the left, back in our forward bend. Bend the knees if you need to. And we're going to come into a chair, which is going to be our super strengthener. So take that block if you need it, if you want that extra reminder of strength. As you bend the knees, you can take the block in between the thighs again. And look down underneath you so that you're looking behind you, upside down. Sweep the arms behind you so they're reaching up behind you towards the ceiling. Keep the arms nice and long and bring the rib cage towards the thighs. Begin to sit down in an imaginary chair behind you. The knees stay behind the toes. Sweep the fingertips to the earth. Lift the arms next to the ears, and then lift yourself the rib cage off the thighs into chair pose. Squeeze the block, that helps a lot. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, stand through those feet and lift up, up, up to our tall standing pose. Sweep the arms next to the body, sigh that out, and take the block over to the side. Great job with that kind of new sequence. That leg out is a prep for Hanuman, which is a really long pose where it's a leaping monkey. So that was our Hanuman series. Let's take any props over to the side. And we're going to do a beautiful tree sequence where we really stabilize the hips. Come to the bottom of your mat. Take the hands to the hips. Inhale. Exhale, connecting to the earth, walk forward confidently with that right foot. And then as you bring the left foot forward, see if you can keep the weight onto the right side. Inhale the left knee up in front of you like we did the other day, so we're in our right angle. And notice as you do this that your right hip might want to collapse, but let's keep those glutes engaged and then take the hip open. So we're going to take the knee out to the left. So we're beginning to transition into tree pose. So take that left knee out. And if you want to, you can curl the left toes under on the floor so you can really kickstand yourself into this tree pose. Or you can take the foot over to any side of your right leg. Even if you're, I'm going to do the kickstand version just so you can see that easy, gentler version. Inhale. Let's come back to that awareness in mountain pose. So what we're doing is the basics of mountain pose still, strong through the feet, and then the energy coming up from the feet through the middle of the body, reminding yourself of that inner strength. Notice the little tiny tilt in the pelvis so that we're still got integrity in the spine. Inhale, exhale. You're strong but flexible. Sweep the arms above the head on your next inhale. And then in this balance, find your center. Now, if you want to find the center and bring your hands into prayer position, you can do that. Or you can keep the arms above the head and we'll do a swaying tree. So we're going to sway side to side, activating all of these large muscles that are going to keep us strong and balanced. Swaying those branches side to side. Beautiful. Sweep the arms next to the body, hands to the hips, and we'll come out of that. We've got a few tree themes to work with here. Come to the bottom of your mat and we'll take the other side. Find your mountain pose, inhale, exhale, take a step forward with your left foot. Bringing the right hip forward, the knee comes up on the right side. So you find the evenness through the hips before you come into tree pose. In your balance on the left side, left glute engaged. Let's take the right knee out to the side. Find a center point for that right foot, either kickstand or on the inside of the left leg. So I'll demonstrate the inside of the left leg. Are the hips still even? That's always something to check. Lower ribs, tuck those in so you've got that strength up on the top. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Either come into prayer position and just stay in that stillness. And then inhale the arms up again and sway side to side. As you balance, see if you can come back to that slow breath so that we're breathing at the pace, slowing things down like a tree at the pace of a tree. They live on a lot slower pace than we do. They last a long time. So slow the breath down even as you practice your strength. Sweep the arms down around the hips and then come back down. Walk to the back of the mat and we're going to do the right side again. So inhale, exhale, step forward with the right. I'm going to face you so you see me. Take that left knee up in right ankle and bring the foot to the side of the leg. And now from here, I want you to do falling tree. So you're going to fall on purpose, carefully, of course. So in any direction, just fall. Okay. Trees fall, so that's okay. Coming back to that tree, let's establish that again with the left leg out to the side, the left knee out to the side, left hip open. Great. And now come with the hand to prayer position in front of the heart. And we're going to practice our midnight tree, which is closing one eye, keeping that balance. Close the other eye. Keep the balance. Press the hands together. And then open both eyes. And now the ultimate challenge. Be careful around you, of course. Close both eyes, even momentarily, noticing what that does to your proprioception and your strength building. Midnight tree, okay, drop out of that, walk to the back of your mat. Inhale, exhale, step forward with the left foot. Bring the right knee forward, keeping the hips even, hands on the hips. Let's bring that right knee up and then out to the side. Plant the foot on the side of the left leg. And then playing with your hands however you'd like, fall out of it in any direction. Inhale, exhale, tilt forward, and just fall out of it. Falling tree. Coming back to our left foot on the floor. Inhale, the right knee up to the front and then out to the side. Take the hands to the heart, press the hands together, feeling that shoulder engage, both shoulders, all the large muscles if you press the hands together. Inhale, exhale, let's close one eye. Let's close the other eye and open the other opposite. Okay, open both eyes. Now close both eyes and see how that goes. Carefully, of course. As you practice this, it will get better over time. Exhale, let's drop back into mountain pose, shake it out, and then just take a tree pose of your choice. We'll start with the right side, and this time you don't have to walk into it. You can just be where you are and drop into the right side. So this time we're starting with the weight on the left leg. Or actually just use your side, one side and then the other. And you can take the arms up. You can take them out to the side. You can even take them into prayer position, whatever you choose. Spend a couple of breaths in the pose. Exhale down. As you do this, visualize a forest around you, keeping you company as your favorite tree. Other side. All of us on our screens supporting each other as a community of trees. Exhale everything down, back to the earth, both feet on the earth. Come to the back of your mat. Inhale the arms up above the body. Hinge forward. If you can keep your legs straight, that's great. Swan dive down to the earth. And just notice that stretch in the hamstrings, or keep the knees bent, no problem. Bend the knees now purposefully, and we'll walk the hands out toward downward dog. So you're walking the hands out, point your index fingers towards the top of the mat. And bring the palms towards the top of the mat. Keep your feet in tiptoe position, heels up. Bend the knees, straighten your right leg, bring the heel towards the earth. Inhale up, straighten your left leg, bring the heel towards the earth. Pedal the feet. Reach long through the spine. That will take that energy out of your wrists, so you're not jamming into your wrists. You're bringing those sits bones long away from the crown of the head. Relaxing your neck and relaxing your gaze. Now come to tiptoe position with both feet. Inhale, get long through the spine, and exhale, bring the heels down towards the earth. Beautiful. And then you're going to transition into a plank. So we're going to get our strength going again. Keep those arms grounded and strong as you shift the hips forward, over, bringing the shoulders above the wrists. So we're coming into our long plank, curl the back toes under. Just briefly hold here and then sweep the hips back to downward dog. Exhale. As you inhale, see if you can transition smoothly forward over your wrists and then back again. So it's a quick transition, but it's smooth. Follow your breath. Inhale, one more. We're like squeezing the armpit energy towards the ribs, engaging those strong muscles of the back. And then back to dog. Lengthen one more time through that dog. Pedal your feet if you want to. Inhale, stand strongly, both your feet in your hands, your base. Then bend the knees down to the mat. Roll over onto your back for our beautiful strap series. Grab the strap. And then bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Ease the head back onto the mat. So we really got long and tall. Now we're gonna open up the hips and take gravity out of our challenge. So now we're feeling that pull of gravity to the back of the body towards the earth. Inhale, close the eyes, cut out distractions again. Exhale, notice the shape of the body on the mat. Bring your awareness to the bottom of the spine, to the sacrum, the triangular bone at the bottom of the spine. This is an anchor point. And then travel up the spine, noticing that column leading up towards the crown of the head. And then roll the shoulder blades underneath you. So the shoulder blades come together, and then your shoulders melt towards the earth. Take the hand, the long arms beside you along the body. This is where you just take an internal tour, noticing any lingering tension. Coming back to our breath awareness. So we're going to do that. Inhale for 3 counts. Exhale for 5 to 7 counts. Two more rounds of breath this way. Before we transition to our pose, I'm just going to have you notice as well that the lower back is lifting slightly off the mat. If that's the case, superb. You just want to make sure that your navel is still toning towards the spine, so you've got supported through your core. Grab your strap, and we'll inhale the right knee towards the chest. Give it a hug. You can take your ankle in circles. So because we were doing some standing stuff, just get those snap, crackle, pop there. And then take the strap around the ball of the right foot. And we're gonna move toward a happy baby, also a hamstring happy baby sequence. So hold the strap in both hands and then begin to straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling or in a diagonal position. And then inhale as you bend the knee towards you, and then exhale, straighten it out again. This is a gentle reminder to the hamstrings to open with the breath. Inhale as you come down, exhale as you straighten up. Great. Now we'll take the right foot towards the left hip and the toes towards the left shoulder. Bend the knee, keeping the knee and the toes aligned, bend the knee and straighten the knee. Each time you straighten the leg, you might get the toes might want to come a little closer to the face, but again, you don't have to strive here because the hamstrings will get their stretch. Now, even if you just bend and straighten. Exhale, feel that buzz along the back of the leg, and then bring it back to neutral so that you're just holding the toes towards the face, knee in a line with the toes. Let's bend the right knee towards the right armpit now. And then take the strap, both sides of the strap in your right hand. So we're in a half happy baby. Right hip stretch here. Relax those shoulders, relax your face. See if you can straighten out the left leg. Stand on an imaginary surface with your left foot, take your left hand, place it on top of your left thigh, and just press down towards the earth. Getting our walking muscles treated a spa experience. Bend the left knee, bring that foot to the floor. Straighten out your right leg with your next exhale. And then with the strap, both sides of the strap in the right hand, you're going to open up the right leg to the right in a diagonal position. If it comes down to the floor, great, but don't push. Wherever it lands, if it doesn't land, you can push through the ball of the foot, keeping it nice and steady. And if you want to open your left knee out to the side, you can give ballast there. So that means the side of your left foot is on the floor. So we're really getting a stretch along the adductors inside the legs. Spending a few rounds of breath, allowing the muscles not to be jammed open, but just to be nourished and encouraged. Find your sacrum, make sure it's placed on the mat. Bring the left knee up towards the ceiling and guide that right foot back up to ceiling, bend the knee. And then straighten out both legs along the mat. Noticing the difference between the two sides. I wouldn't want to leave you without evening yourselves out. So let's bend the both knees. Inhale the left knee towards the face. Gently encircle your ankle. And gently place that strap on the ball of the left foot and straighten out the left leg. Bend and straighten that leg. And see what differences happen as you gently encourage the hamstrings to open up along with the hip. If you're ever planning a long hike, I really recommend doing this before or long exercise session. Really makes a difference for your lower back and so many other muscles. Great, now bring it back to a neutral position and we're going to bring the left foot over towards the right hip and then bend and straighten here. Finding that long exhale. Releasing tension. Come back to neutral with your foot and your left leg. And then we'll bend the left knee towards the left armpit, taking both straps in the left hand. Half happy baby. You can keep your left knee bent, or you can straighten, your right knee bent, or you can straighten out that right leg. Take your right hand to the top of the right thigh, press in towards the earth. Bring your mind's eye to the left thigh. So that would be your femur bone fitting into that hip socket. Just imagine a nice fluid energy there. The left thigh drops towards the earth. The more you encourage and breathe into the pose. Bend the right knee, bring the sole of the foot to the floor, and we'll straighten out the left leg. Again, keeping that strap in the left hand, let's open up that leg to the left. Pressing through the ball of the foot, keeping everything more aligned and steady. You can take your right knee out to the side, keeping the side of the right foot on the floor. Find your sacrum and make sure that's firmly your anchor on the floor beneath you. And then begin to bring your right knee up towards the ceiling. Guide your left leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee. Bring both feet down and lengthen your legs. Straighten them out along the mat and arms next to the ears. We'll feel how much longer we've gotten from our feet all the way up to the fingertips. And then sweep the arms next to the body, bend the knees. And we'll take a rotating twist to either side. So we're going to sway side to side, first rolling onto our left side. Keep the legs in a right angle and keep your knees together. So we're taking the palms together as well, arms out long next to the body. And then again, the knees will want to separate as you twist. So keep those together so that we keep the twist in the mid and upper body. Open that right arm to the sky. So make an arc shape above your body. And you'll feel the ribs turning over to the right, the shoulder. And as you turn into that twist, lift the knees off the floor, roll up onto your back, and then roll over onto the other side. Exhaling, bringing this to a close, you'll take your left arm and reach up in an arc to the sky, and then down towards the right palm. Keep the knees together. Inhale, make an arc shape with your left arm, and feel the twist turning to the left. Lift the knees up with your core strength, and then bring the right arm up and close that. You can take this path with your breath another time. Right arm up, twist open, and gently roll onto your right side, allowing that left arm to follow in a gorgeous arc shape. Sweep the left arm up again. Exhale, right arm follows. And just for fun, to make more rainbows, we can make one more rainbow with that right arm. Knees change position to the other side. Rainbow with the left. And then finally, let's come back onto the left side where we began. Our rotating twist. And now roll onto your back. Come onto the mat. And we'll move towards our active rest, sealing in the practice today. Get long again. And your shoulder blades come together. Melt the shoulders towards the earth. Palms open to the sky. Close the eyes, come back into your breath. Slow down the thoughts, slow down the breath. Come into that pace of the pace of life and breath that the trees have. Just slow everything down. Meditate on your favorite kind of tree. And in this meditation, populate that favorite tree with more trees so that you have a forest. And allow your exhale, that nice long exhale, to become a breeze through that forest. Notice visualizing the trees in that breeze, the sound of the leaves or the branches. The sights around you in that forest. The ecosystem created, the entire world created by just one tree and the community of trees for all the organisms. In turn, creating oxygen for a greater universe around them. So that we in turn can breathe more easily. Supporting cycles of health. Regeneration. Renewal. Life affirming. Lengthen your breath. Deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees and the elbows. Gently roll over onto your right side. Allow your inhale to guide you up to a seated position. Link the thumbs in your seated position. Link the thumbs, bring the fingers out to the side, place that on your heart. Bird wings. Inhale into your hands. Exhale and then transition into prayer position. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.